The moment before, Catherine Davis was posting pictures showing off our relationship on Twitter. Now, she had quietly picked up the limited edition supercar I had ordered ages ago from the car dealership. An hour later, Catherine Davis's male assistant was driving it. She knew I loved cars more than anything, yet she dared to steal my car and give it away. That evening, I had every luxury sports car from my garage collection transported in front of her. I told her to pick anyone she wanted to give away. My father even agreed to the blind date with the Sterling family overnight. I had money, looks, and a good physique. Why waste time on someone who didn't love me? In the evening, I stood on the villa balcony, watching the sunset. A grand roar came from a distance, and a limited edition supercar with black and gold paint appeared at the villa entrance. Ethan Miller walked around the car towards the passenger seat, gently and considerately opening the passenger seat door. A silver stiletto heel stepped onto the ground. Catherine Davis, dressed in a white suit and holding a white crocodile leather bag, stepped out of the car. Her gaze was fixed on Ethan Miller, who had opened the door for her, carrying a hint of aggression. I saw them exchange a few words, and Catherine Davis laughed exceptionally happily. A tweet notification popped up on my phone. It was from Ethan Miller, just posted on Twitter. A profile picture taken from the girlfriend's perspective. Slender fingers gripped the steering wheel, the corner of his mouth curled up in just the right curve. Driving the car my female boss gave me to take her home, even the wind is sweet. In that moment, all my expectations instantly fell flat. When the sales rep messaged me that afternoon, I thought Catherine Davis was trying to give me a quiet surprise, and I had spent 3 hours happily picking out an outfit in my dressing room. It wasn't until I was starving and she hadn't arrived that I opened my phone and saw Ethan Miller's Instagram post. At first, I even suspected that Ethan Miller had secretly taken the photo behind Catherine Davis's back out of vanity. It wasn't until I saw this Twitter post just now that I was certain. She had truly taken the car I had been coveting for over half a year, privately picked it up from the car dealership, and given it to someone else. I walked out and stood before Catherine Davis. Ethan Miller's straight, long legs took 2 steps forward, blocking me. "Mr. Stone, good evening. Ms. Davis just finished dinner with me outside, so we returned a little late. Please don't blame her." Faced with his provocation, my eyes turned colder, and I found it somewhat amusing. By what right was he telling me not to blame my own girlfriend? I haven't even said anything, yet you're so eager to accuse me. Ethan Miller's eyes lifted slightly, his cool face looking a little pale. I pulled the corners of my mouth into a smile. "How's the car driving?" Having been in the business world for so many years, everyone has discernment. A supercar costing nearly $20 million wasn't something a market director like Catherine Davis, with no background, could afford to buy. If he dared to accept it, he must have guessed who the original owner of the car was. Ethan Miller gave a muffled Catherine Davis stepped in front of him and tugged at my sleeve. "Okay, Robert, doesn't Ethan drive me to and from work every day? Today, I just suddenly remembered you had ordered a supercar, so I just picked it up and gave it to Ethan. You have so many supercars, you shouldn't mind, right?" I put my hands in my pockets, the corners of my mouth curving back, my eyes sharp and cold. "No, I do mind. This supercar is one I waited for over half a year. No one can take it, not even you, my girlfriend." Catherine Davis hadn't expected me to be so direct, and her face immediately turned ugly. The scene fell silent. Ethan Miller also pressed his lips together, not saying a word. As a man himself, he naturally knew why I was angry. No man could watch the woman he loved use his money to give gifts to another man, even if the gift served her own convenience. "Mr. Stone, it's my fault. I shouldn't have accepted Ms. Davis's gift. I'll cancel the registration and return the car to the car dealership later." Look at him talking, making me sound so petty. Ethan Miller, is it? It's just a car. I can afford to give one away. I have over a dozen supercars in my underground garage. Pick any one you want and take it. Consider it a gift from me. He looked up, a hint of surprise in his eyes. I glanced at him with an inherent sense of dominance. Catherine has been with me for 9 years and is used to seeing the world. She doesn't think giving away a supercar is a big deal. But you should know, as an assistant, what you should and shouldn't accept. Ethan Miller took a step back, flustered, and repeatedly apologized. "Mr. Stone, you're right to scold me. I was wrong. Please don't blame Ms. Davis." "Ms. Davis?" What an intimate way to address her. Catherine Davis, in her stiletto heels, shielded Ethan Miller behind her and looped her arms around my waist. She pulled a bottle of cologne from her 8-figure Hermes bag, smiling indulgently. "Okay, Prince Charming, I bought you the new limited edition cologne. Don't be mad anymore." I looked down at the cologne in her hand, remembering the bits and pieces of the past 9 years. Catherine Davis and I had been together since our college romance. As a cool beauty, she had a stream of men pursuing her, eager to win her favor. But she had resolutely refused all of them, staying devotedly by my side. She had whispered to me in moments of passion that she would only ever love one man, me. She said I was her life. But now everything had changed. In her eyes, I saw her admiration and concern for another man. I saw her smile and show emotion for him. The cologne in her hand was a brand I had stopped liking ages ago. Her tone, a mix of coaxing and scolding, pulled me back to reality. I know you're jealous because you love me. Anyone who didn't know might think you're targeting a low-level employee. Target? He wasn't worth it. My eyes narrowed, and I walked into the villa coldly. The way Ethan looks at you is clearly not just a subordinate looking at their superior. As a market director, you're sharp, you couldn't possibly not see it. Daring to give a 20 million supercar to a man who's infatuated with you, Catherine Davis. She frowned playfully. I know Ethan, and I have nothing going on, not now, not ever. My gaze was deep, and I temporarily believed her proof of loyalty. Having loved her for so many years, I'd seen it all. Getting jealous over a somewhat attractive male assistant was beneath me. I had gotten my anger out, and I got my favorite supercar back. There was no need to dwell on it too much. After all, I didn't have concrete proof of their inappropriate intimacy. Catherine Davis pulled me along the whole way into the bathroom. Her eyes were slightly red, her gaze alluring. Mrs. Peterson is off today. You shower first, I'll go fry you a steak. I nodded, watching her retreating back, and opened the drawer where I kept my underwear. I frowned. Her voice came from outside the door. Oh, right, Mrs. Peterson said your underwear needed replacing, so she threw it all out. You can get new ones from the bottom drawer. I bent down and opened the bottom drawer. I have OCD, everything must be perfectly arranged. Mrs. Peterson was especially careful about this, checking meticulously every day. But in the drawer, a box of men's underwear was missing. In a flash, I remembered Ethan Miller's Twitter post from 2 days ago. In a multi-image post on Twitter showing his sense of ritual in life, there was a box of that brand of underwear. I instantly flew into a rage, losing control. Catherine Davis, giving my underwear to her assistant. Though I didn't want to admit it, I was raging with jealousy. After 9 years together, this was the first time I had been this angry over another man. I wanted to rush downstairs immediately and confront Catherine Davis. Did she even know what it meant to give a man underwear? Just as I was trying to calm myself before going downstairs, Catherine Davis pushed open the bathroom door, her slippers tapping. Robert, Ethan returned the car to the car dealership, but I need to go there to cancel the registration. You can prepare dinner yourself. I was already angry, and hearing that only added fuel to the fire. Can't you go tomorrow? Does it have to be so late to go out? Catherine Davis paused, frowning. Don't you like this car? Canceling the registration early is for your sake, too. My face turned cold, and my heart felt a chill. You took the car without my permission. I'm just taking back what was already mine. It's so late now, it's not safe to go out. You can go tomorrow. She took a deep breath, her eyes filled with disapproval towards me. You publicly took back the gift I gave Ethan, and now you're making him waste so much time at the car dealership. Robert, you can't just think of yourself. You're acting like a stranger. My furious rage instantly extinguished, replaced by endless coldness and disappointment. Suddenly, I found it laughable. I'm thinking of myself? I'm a stranger? Catherine Davis, are you even listening to yourself? Catherine Davis looked a little impatient, but she still patiently explained to me. My words were harsh, but you should know that Ethan is currently the man at the company who can help me the most with work. You made him lost face in public today, I can't just abandon him now. Seeing that I was no longer speaking, she sighed. Robert, you have an illustrious family background, you're different from ordinary people like me. If I want to have a future with you, I have to become stronger. Of course, you can childish today and tell me not to go, but discouraging a partner who works alongside you is also something I don't want to see. My head exploded. So, in Catherine Davis's heart, she had always felt we weren't a good match. Ethan Miller was the partner she could stand shoulder to shoulder with. So that was it. My heart turned cold, and I blurted out, "Go ahead." Seeing me relent, she didn't hesitate for a second, pushed the door open, and left. All that remained was the faint scent of gardenia fading in the air. In the past, I most admired Catherine Davis's rational and clear-headed nature. She also said she loved my innate pride and rebellious spirit. Now, everything had changed. I sensibly raised my eyes and exhaled into the air. A woman whose heart had left didn't need to be kept. I took out my phone and called my father in New York City. The blind date arranged by the Sterling family's eldest daughter, I'll go. 5 years ago, after graduating from college, my father asked me to return to New York City to inherit the family business. I didn't want to leave Catherine Davis and stayed in Northwood. For 5 years, I went from being a rich second generation who knew nothing to a self-made success. Whatever Catherine Davis wanted to do, I supported her. 5 years of stumbling and supporting each other, we opened Northwood's largest clothing company. With nearly $10 billion in revenue annually, only to be told by her that we weren't a good match. Leaving all this behind and returning to New York City now, I actually felt a little reluctant. A message popped up on my phone from Catherine Davis. She said the supercar's registration was cancelled and it was returned to the car dealership. She and Ethan Miller were going back to the company to work overtime tonight and wouldn't be coming home. I lay in bed, sleepless all night. The next day, I arrived at the company on an empty stomach, having not eaten all night. Unexpectedly, breakfast left by Catherine Davis was on my desk. Ethan and I are seeing some clients, let's eat lunch together. The writing on the sticky note was Catherine Davis's. But the breakfast in the bag was grits, which I disliked the most. It was obvious this wasn't prepared for me. I handed the breakfast to my assistant and told him to go out and buy me something else. A relationship gone sour was like a breakfast you didn't like, there was no need to force yourself to consume it. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I finished all my documents, but there was still no sign of Catherine Davis. My assistant suddenly pushed open the door and casually said, "Boss, I saw Ms. Davis and her assistant went for seafood. What do you want to eat? I'll order for you." I was stunned for a moment, frowning. "Where did you see them?" The assistant waved his phone, looking surprised. On Instagram, her assistant posted a thank you note to Ms. Davis for treating him to a seafood feast. I lit a cigarette and exhaled into the air. The guilt I felt from agreeing to the blind date impulsively last night completely disappeared. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Catherine Davis pushed open my office door in her heels. Ethan Miller was behind her. "Robert, sorry, we didn't finish with the clients at noon so we couldn't make it back. We just grabbed something quick outside. You ate already, right?" I picked up the documents she brought back and simply said, She pulled up the chair in front of my desk and sat down, sighing. "Robert, I don't know how the supercar incident got around the company. They're all talking about Ethan behind his back. Could you perhaps say something to explain for Ethan, seeing as we signed some big deals today?" My hand, which was about to sign, paused. I looked up. "Didn't you give him the car and he accepted it? Why should I, an outsider, clean up your mess?" Catherine Davis's cool face showed some displeasure. "Robert, you're the boss. It's just a matter of saying a word." I leaned back in my chair and scoffed. "You want me to use my authority to force people to shut up?" It was normal for people to talk when the boss gives her assistant a luxury car, wasn't it? Since he dared to accept it and even flaunt it openly on Instagram and Twitter. Shouldn't he have anticipated this outcome? Yet she was defending him. And she wanted me, feeling disgusted, to defend him with her. "Catherine Davis, 9 years of a relationship, do you have a heart?" Ethan Miller spoke up from behind her. "It's all right, Ms. Davis. A few rumors won't hurt me. Mr. Stone is busy enough with his work, let's not bother him with these small matters." Catherine Davis grew anxious, frowning as she defended him. "How can this be a small matter? You travel everywhere with me every day. I don't want people gossiping about you." I slammed the documents onto the desk, interrupting the two who were looking at each other. "First, a clear conscience fears no false accusation. Catherine Davis, if you were acting purely professionally, rewarding him for bringing in huge revenue for the company, giving him a supercar would be justifiable. But the truth is, the value of those deals is nowhere near that of a supercar. I don't care if you misjudged his contribution to the company or if you feel bad that he accompanies you on business trips and drives you around every day. The company pays him a sufficient salary, and he can ask for more if it's not enough, instead of you taking my supercar without my permission to compensate him. This matter is your problem, not something that requires me to pull rank to solve for you." After I finished speaking, both of them were stunned. Ethan Miller reacted sooner than Catherine Davis. He lowered his head to me, his voice earnest. "I'm sorry, Mr. Stone. This was my oversight. I'll handle it myself. Please don't blame Catherine." He called her Catherine. In just one night, the title of Ms. Davis had changed to Catherine. It seemed their relationship was closer to Han, I thought. Catherine Davis slammed her hand down on the table and spoke with determination. "We'll handle it ourselves. We don't need you. She pulled Ethan Miller and forcefully pushed open the office door, leaving without looking back. Before leaving work, I received their business trip request and approved it. That night, a good friend called me to get drinks. He teased me, saying I should have left her long ago. 9 years dedicated everything to one girl, and in the end, she didn't appreciate it. She just thinks being with you is too tiring. No matter how hard she tries, she can't earn a tenth of your family's wealth, and she can't comfortably spend yours either. It can't be helped. That's how modern women are. I finished a mojito and didn't say anything. That wasn't it. For two hearts truly together, love wouldn't be a burden. Only lack of love led to rational calculations. Forget it. If she didn't belong to me, it was better she left. When is the blind date with the Sterling family scheduled? Are you really deciding to leave Northwood? I hummed in agreement. Next week. I'll transfer the operating rights of the company to you and then I'll leave. This clothing company was started by Catherine Davis and me together. We both held half the shares. Since I was cutting ties, everything had to be settled. I spent the entire following week busy with the transfer. Since the argument that day, Catherine Davis had blocked me on social media. Ethan Miller's posts, however, were visible. Every day he posted photos related to Catherine Davis. The seaside sunset they watched together after meeting clients. The couple's breakfast the hotel provided in the morning. The Americano they drank together at 3 in the morning while working on a proposal. My heart went from an initial ache to gradual numbness. Until, my assistant nervously handed me Ethan Miller's Twitter account. Mr. Stone, the algorithm recommended it, I thought you should know. I stared at the account for a long time. Ethan Miller's latest tweet showed Catherine Davis's profile as she slept in his arms. Beneath it, fans commented, "Congrats to the blogger on going from unrequited love to boyfriend, officially promoted. Wow, I've been following the blogger's 4-year unrequited love stories, finally getting the official couple. So unrequited love really can succeed." I felt no emotion, just a nonchalant smile, and handed the phone back to my assistant. "Notify everyone, we're having a company-wide meeting this afternoon." This tangled love triangle needed to end. At 3 in the afternoon, I walked into the company's largest conference room on time with my good friend. "I'd like to inform everyone that I will be stepping down as general manager. The company will henceforth be fully managed by Mr. Lewis here and Ms. Davis." The room erupted in gasps, everyone shocked by the news. I walked down from the stage and left the conference room. The next day, a real estate agent came to list the villa for sale. I sat in the car, heading to the airport. In the airport lobby, crowds surged. I dragged my suitcase towards the security checkpoint and bumped head-on into Catherine Davis and Ethan Miller, who had rushed back. Across the crowd, she looked at me from a distance. Just yesterday, I had asked someone to send her a breakup message. I didn't look at them and walked past. But Catherine Davis grabbed my hand and said in a low voice, "Robert, what are you so upset about?" I frowned and said faintly, "Let go, you're filthy." She didn't let go, instead patiently saying, "I know you're angry. I'll apologize, okay? But Ethan and I really have nothing going on. You're selling your shares, breaking up." A boarding announcement echoed through the airport. Too lazy to argue with her, I simply opened Twitter and showed her Ethan Miller's Twitter account. "The evidence is conclusive. Do I have to expose all the dirty deeds you've done before you'll stop?" She froze for a moment, her lips slightly parted, looking utterly incredulous. I ignored her shock, put away my phone, and walked past her. She reacted quickly, blocking me, and angrily said to Ethan Miller behind her, "What is going on? When did I ever lie in bed with you? Speak." Ethan Miller. Ethan Miller's face turned pale, a flicker of panic in his eyes. "Catherine, let me explain." Catherine Davis squeezed my hand, furious. Her eyes were splitting with anger. She stared intently at Ethan Miller, as if looking at a traitor. "We've never been alone in a room together. Why would you Photoshop photos like this? Also, I asked you before if you like me, and you said no. Were you lying the whole time? I always thought of you as a compatible work partner, but you like me?" Ethan Miller nervously moved closer to Catherine Davis, his eyes anxious. "No, Catherine, my liking you was my own business. I never thought of breaking you and Mr. Stone up. And I didn't let my feelings for you interfere with work. We're still the best work partners. These photos, they were just a way to cope." Catherine Davis instantly broke down, her voice sharp. "I asked you where this photo came from." She was desperate to find the source of the photo, as if proving its authenticity would prove that she still loved me. That only Ethan Miller had unrequited love. Ethan Miller lowered his gaze, his expression conflicted. "This photo was from that night you got drunk and came to my room. You were upset and told me a lot, and then." Catherine Davis's expression went blank for a moment, and she murmured, "Why didn't you push me away?" Ethan Miller anxiously explained, "I wanted to push you away. But..." I stared at Ethan Miller's hesitant expression and scoffed. "I'll answer that question for him. Because it's hard for a man to refuse a woman, and even harder to refuse a woman he loves." Catherine Davis looked at me, as if unable to accept this fact. "Robert, I did. And no. I was drunk." I didn't want to hear her explanations and shook her hand off. "If you didn't have something on your mind, you wouldn't be drinking alone late at night, and you certainly wouldn't run to a man's room. There's nothing more to say between us now. No, I won't let you go." She rushed in front of me, blocking my path. "Robert, we have 9 years of history. You can't just give up and leave like this. We were even planning to get married next year." Her words caused a ripple to stir in my heart. I chuckled softly. "Yes, that's right. We were planning to get married. A year ago, I quietly went to Italy and custom made a unique ring for her. We were so close to getting married." The airport boarding announcement sounded again. My expression turned cold again. "Move. We don't have a future anymore." I walked directly towards the VIP security gate, disregarding Catherine Davis's choked sobs behind me, and set off for New York City. The plane landed in New York City. My father sent a driver to pick me up. The Upper East Side was still the same as before. The first thing my father did when he saw me was hit me with his cane. "I told you to come back. You stayed in Northwood messing around for 5 years for a woman. Look at what you've become. Lost the woman, and your career is a mess. Look at you, what a state." I dodged while chuckling. "Aren't I back now, listening to your wishes, to go on a blind date with the Sterling family's eldest daughter?" Seeing me relent, my father snorted coldly. "You foolish boy. Hurry up and get ready. You're coming with me to see her tonight." I breathed a sigh of relief and walked towards my room. The Sterling family and ours were established families, both century-old companies in New York City. The eldest daughter of the Sterling family, with whom I was going on a blind date, was said to be the next generation head of the family. My father told me that this eldest daughter had also invited several young men from established families to meet as potential matches, but nothing came of it. I wasn't interested in this eldest daughter. I agreed to the blind date simply because I didn't want my father to ask about my past in Northwood. At 6 in the evening, I was dressed and ready, and went to the Commonwealth Club with my father. The Sterling family has recently secured several real estate projects. Although our family doesn't need to try to curry favor with them, if you and the Sterling family's eldest daughter get together, I can rest assured handing over the family business to you. I looked out the car window and smiled faintly. Whatever happens, happens, Dad. Having just ended my last relationship, I wasn't ready to enter another one. Soon, we arrived at the Commonwealth Club. The security at the entrance was noticeably stricter than in previous years. Just a corner of the tattoo of Catherine Davis's name on my chest was visible, and the attendant asked me to take off my jacket. "Sir, please cooperate with the inspection." I frowned and took off my jacket. A sweet female voice sounded from behind me. "Mr. Stone, what a coincidence." As I turned, I saw a pure and clean baby face. Her gaze fell on my abs. I didn't miss the glint of admiration in her eyes. "Oh, Olivia, what a coincidence. We met right at the entrance." So this was the Sterling family's eldest daughter my father had spoken of. She didn't seem as capable as the rumors suggested. She looked harmless, but her eyes were frighteningly bright, with a hint of shrewdness. "Mr. Stone, is this your son?" As I put my jacket back on, my father and the eldest daughter of the Sterling family began chatting warmly. "Yes, this is my son. He just returned to New York City. I figured you two haven't met, so I'd introduce you." Everyone present was intelligent. Some things didn't need to be said too explicitly. The eldest daughter of the Sterling family smiled and extended her hand to me. "Hello, my name is Olivia Sterling. It's nice to meet you." I didn't miss the hint of playfulness in her eyes as I shook her hand. "Robert Stone." I had a pleasant conversation with Olivia Sterling during the meal. My father was exceptionally happy when he returned home and handed over the family business to me the next day. After being busy for about a week, my good friend from Northwood called me. He said Catherine Davis had been looking for me, relentlessly trying to get my contact information, and was driving him crazy. I was silent for a moment, then said, "Give her my contact information." After hanging up, I stood by the window, remembering Olivia Sterling's persistent invitations over the past week. And this morning, I had resolutely refused her. A minute later, my phone rang. Catherine Davis's voice came from the other end, her tone barely concealing her nervousness. Robert, I confirmed with Ethan, nothing happened between us that night. Robert, I didn't cheat, I didn't do anything wrong to you. Where are you, Robert? Can I come find you and apologize? My tone became flat. Catherine, we broke up. It's not about cheating. Her breath hitched, and her voice softened slightly. Then what is it about? I patiently explained everything that had happened recently, and how I felt, sentence by sentence. You gave him a supercar, you gave him underwear, you took pictures, you took him to a seafood feast, you defended him in front of me. Catherine, what made me give up wasn't that photo of you lying together, it was your attitude. Your attitude towards him, and your attitude towards me. Everything, piece by piece, is proof that you don't love me anymore. When you love someone, your subconscious actions can't lie. Catherine Davis's voice choked up. That's not true, Robert, I love you. I miss you so much. I really miss you after you left. I can't live without you at all. How can you say I don't love you? I was silent for a moment, then said faintly, you're just sad because you left someone you've been with for a long time. That doesn't mean you still love me. Catherine, we loved each other once, let's part ways amicably. Don't look for me anymore. Don't make yourself hysterical. Catherine Davis's cries came through the phone, each one more miserable than the last. But my heart felt nothing. A relationship between two people, no matter how damaged, might have a chance of being repaired. But once a third person is involved, that love is no longer pure. My love cannot tolerate even a speck of impurity. At first, I considered that Olivia Sterling seemed to genuinely like me. Being with her could maximize the benefits for both the Stone and Sterling families. But ultimately, I didn't do it. I wanted love to be pure to me. That day, I told her directly, I just ended my last relationship and have no plans to start a new one at the moment. I want to focus on my work. Olivia Sterling commented on my directness, said she genuinely liked me, and was willing to wait for me. I said I couldn't. Love couldn't be waited for. And it couldn't withstand being worn down. Even Catherine Davis and I, after 9 years together and being so familiar with each other, ended up going our separate ways after repeated disappointments. About another week passed, and my good friend suddenly told me that Catherine Davis and Ethan Miller had a big argument at the company and parted on bad terms. It was a heated scene, known to everyone. I clicked on the surveillance video my good friend sent me. It showed Catherine Davis and Ethan Miller arguing. The gist of it was that Ethan Miller felt he had been an assistant for 4 years and wanted to resign and start his own business. Catherine Davis disagreed. Ethan Miller started by coaxing Catherine Davis, but gradually became impatient. He threatened that if she didn't lift his non-compete agreement, he would take the company's clients with him. Catherine Davis scoffed, calling him naive. Their words were filled with veiled and open threats. After watching, I just found it amusing. Since the company was founded, Catherine Davis managed the front-end sales department, and I managed the back-end operations department. I often reminded her not to reveal all her strategies to her subordinates. But she, on the other hand, shared everything with Ethan Miller. The current argument was an expected outcome. But I was more curious, didn't Ethan Miller like Catherine Davis? Why would he want to leave her and go solo? Soon, I got my answer. My good friend said Ethan Miller somehow convinced Catherine Davis to lift the non-compete agreement. He started his own company. The company was named after Catherine Davis. His company's clients were ones he poached from Catherine Davis. Not only that, but he also began a high-profile pursuit of Catherine Davis. Catherine Davis was furious and completely unappreciative, giving all 99,999 roses he sent to the company's employees. At the same time, she began to suppress Ethan Miller within the industry. The two who were inseparable before officially became mortal enemies. Catherine Davis stayed at the company day and night, fighting Ethan Miller for clients. Ethan Miller also refused to back down, lowering profits to win customers. The Northwood garment industry was turned upside down by the two of them. My good friend called me to complain, asking if I could sell my shares. He didn't want to deal with this mess anymore. I said that was fine. Starting a company wasn't child's play, and Catherine Davis and Ethan Miller were being too reckless. I originally thought they would drag this out longer, but unexpectedly, Catherine Davis quietly came to New York City. She somehow got my information and stood outside the company entrance, staring intently at the door, not missing a single figure. I stood by the privacy window on the 3rd floor, looking down at her. She looked thinner, her cheeks completely sunken, and her eyes much deeper than before, with a look of deep fatigue. As if she hadn't slept properly in a long time. I took the elevator down. The moment I stepped out of the company, I heard Catherine Davis's ecstatic voice. Robert! I nodded faintly, observing her closely. How long haven't you slept? Closer up, her overall exhaustion looked even more severe. Catherine Davis's eyes showed a trace of sadness, and she tightened her grip on her briefcase. After you left, I found it hard to sleep. Seeing that I didn't speak, she instantly burst into tears. Robert, I miss you so much. Please come back. I can't live without you. I took a step back, ignoring her step forward to embrace me. Catherine, we've broken up. I won't go back. Catherine Davis seemed to be breaking down, tears streaming down her face. Why? We were so good together before. Just because of some misunderstanding between Ethan and me, you're pushing me away so heartlessly? I looked at her bewildered eyes and said faintly, it wasn't a misunderstanding. Her eyes widened, looking at me with a hint of confusion. You always knew Ethan Miller liked you. I used to think that Catherine Davis was unaware of Ethan Miller's feelings for her. Until recently, when Olivia Sterling intentionally or unintentionally came to me to discuss collaboration. When you like someone, even if you don't say it, it shows in your eyes. Especially 4 years of unrequited love. You used my feelings for you to help you build your company. And you used Ethan Miller's feelings for you to achieve your career goals. Catherine Davis, you wanted to have your cake and eat it too. This is the outcome you deserve. Catherine Davis's eyes flashed with panic, and she anxiously clutched my sleeve. That's not true. Robert, there's nothing going on between us. I never knew he loved me at all. I scoffed and opened my phone, showing her a chat log. A chat log where Ethan Miller wanted to make amends with me. The Stone family's business didn't involve clothing. But the Sterling families did. Olivia Sterling somehow found out about my situation in Northwood and blocked Ethan Miller's deals. Ethan Miller came to me and explained everything. He provided evidence of Catherine Davis subtly trying to win him over. The chat logs revealed Catherine Davis's dissatisfaction with me between the lines. She complained that I was too controlling, too forceful in my work, and didn't consider her feelings. She said that if the company didn't currently need me, she wouldn't want to be in the same room with me at all. She said Ethan Miller was her salvation. Ethan Miller had used these chat logs to threaten Catherine Davis into lifting the non-compete agreement. Now he was using these chat logs to make me see Catherine Davis for who she really was. Catherine Davis, if you want to use relationships to advance your career, you need to weigh whether you have the capability. My words were like knives, piercing Catherine Davis's heart. Her face turned pale then red, and she quickly felt humiliated and turned to leave. She probably knew she could never win me back in this lifetime. The summer evening breeze was warm. Olivia Sterling slowly pulled up in a pink Bugatti Veyron, rolled down the window, and smiled sweetly at me. Handsome, care to grab a bite? I smiled helplessly and opened the passenger seat door. I heard about Catherine Davis and Ethan Miller again half a year later. I heard that after Catherine Davis returned, she put aside past grudges and partnered with Ethan Miller on a new project. It went smoothly, and they both made money. But it was also this project that caused a huge conflict between them. Their two companies also started fighting for clients. Former partners became fierce rivals. Another half a year passed, and Catherine Davis acquired Ethan Miller's company. At the same time, Ethan Miller's Twitter account was cleared overnight, leaving only one sentence, "Never seeing you again." I felt no emotion upon hearing this news. Catherine Davis could bring herself to try and reconcile with me, and Ethan Miller could use Catherine Davis to seek my forgiveness. Neither of them was any good. After a long time, my good friend told me Catherine Davis was sick. Brain cancer. He said it was likely from working overtime and not sleeping enough, and it was hard to treat and required long-term treatment. My good friend asked if I felt sorry for her. Looking at Olivia Sterling resting in the passenger seat, I fell into thought. What should I take her to eat for lunch?